could you reflect on a time where you were going through, I say, a rough patch, or you were feeling discouraged along your business, entrepreneurship journey, or even spiritual journey, and where you couldn't see, that light at the end of the tunnel, but you continue to push through? Can you describe a moment like that, and what steps did
How
you
many you
took
want?
to go
How
through?
many you want, bro?
As many as
How
you
many?
want to give, sir.
How many you want, bro? Okay. And by the way, James, I sent you a text, by the way. So, so Darius, let me tell you this. So I grew up poor. So fortunately for me, I'll say it like this. Fortunately for me, I grew up poor. So poverty doesn't scare me. I don't like it, but it doesn't scare me. Oh, but what if I lose everything? I've already done that. That's not, it ain't that deep. It's just stuff, right? So I grew up poor. I learned how to make some money, and I got to the place where I was making, fairly consistently $100,000 a month, and I thought I was a baller. I thought, yeah, bro, just don't ever go away. But see, I forgot that the scripture says riches do make themselves wings and fly away as a bird towards heaven. Right? Okay. And so I was doing really, really well. I think I had my first seven-figure year in 2005. Had my first six-figure, maybe 2004. My first six-figure year in 1999. Right? My first seven-figure year in 2004, 2005. I had been balling for a couple of years, and so I upgraded my lifestyle. Had $500,000 worth of cars or whatever, maybe $300,000 worth of cars, whatever. And I bought $1 million home, and I bought the $1 million home in 2008, right before the crash, right? And I had clients that owed me over $250,000 who got abducted by aliens. I know they got abducted by aliens because I've never heard from them since. So I'm sure they're no longer on this planet, right? And so our income went from like 100,000 a month, and I mean, my car payments weren't that much. They were like $3,500 a month for all my cars, and my house was $8,500 a month, which wasn't that much if you're making 100 grand a month. It's not that big of a deal. But when your income dives, like falls off a cliff, it's like different, right? And then the banks started tightening up, and people started tightening up, and like, it's like, oh, okay. So I said, that was 2008. By 2009, I'm like, I got to do something. So I knew how to do network marketing. I went out and built a network marketing organization in like 4 months, and had a team of, I don't know, 5,000 people, something like that. And I was making 40,000 a month within 4 months, and from the network marketing company, and another 100,000 a month teaching other people in the network marketing company how to do what I just did. And then the company changed the product. My income went from 40,000 a month down to nothing in about 6 months. So then in 2010, I got audited by the IRS. And then 2011, my mom passed away. In 2012, we ended up losing our house. I had to sell it on a short sale. So the house that I paid $1,027,000 for, I sold for like $635,000. My Mercedes S550 got me possessed, not repossessed. Repossessed is when they come get it. Me possessed is when I took it back to them. Where y'all want me to bring this car, right? So it got me possessed, right? And so my S550 got me possessed. And then I was the richest guy in my community, like my family and my friends. I borrowed some money from my brother, I borrowed some money from my brother-in-law, borrowed some money from some friends of mine at church so that I could rent a truck to move to Tampa and rent a house. And I can remember sitting in that rental house in 2013, 2014, and I was doing all these entrepreneurial endeavors and nothing was coming together. This is like 10 years ago, right? And I can remember thinking, this is not going to ever go away. The IRS tells me I owe them $1 million. I'm not even making $20,000 a month. In fact, I wasn't making anything. 2012, 13, and 14, I lived on borrowed money. I had a friend of mine who I helped when he was in trouble. He loaned me $4,000 a month for 2 years, for all 2014, 2013, 2014. I can remember sitting on my back porch on my patio, and I just broke down crying on my wife's shoulder. My wife, I'm crying. My wife doesn't, I never wanted my wife to worry about anything. I was working. And it was an ugly, loud cry. My neighbors probably like, what's going on over there, right? They probably thought my wife was like beating me up or something. I mean, I was crying loud and hard, and nothing was working. I thought, but it was working on me. It just wasn't working for me yet. And how did I push through? I just kept on doing stuff until something worked for me. And the thing that changed my life, though, to be fully transparent, Russell Brunson, I got a sales letter from Russell Brunson for this inner circle thing that he had back then that was $25,000. And I didn't have $25,000, right? And so I'm reading this thing, and I invented this golf fitness product. And he said, there's this guy in this golf business. He wouldn't let me help him because I didn't know anything about golf. And he flushed $25 million down the toilet. I'm like, I've got a golf product. I don't want to flush $25 million down the toilet. So I called him and booked an appointment. And they told me this inner circle thing was $25,000. I said, I don't have $25,000. And so I negotiated with them. I got them to create a payment plan that they didn't have just for me. I said, but if you'll let me pay you $5,000 every other month, I'll join right now. And he let me join for $5,000 every other month. And I said, the only way I'm going to do this, though, if I can bring my son and my daughter with me to all the meetings. Well, if you're going to bring your son and your daughter, it can't be $25,000. It's going to be It's going to be $30,000. Like, okay, I'll pay you $5,000 a month every other month for a year, or for 6 months. No, for a year. For a year, I'll pay you $5,000 a month every other month for a year if you'll let me join. Okay, we'll let you join. So I joined. Now here's what happened. In that mastermind, all these high-level entrepreneurs are in there. Everybody's making more money than me. I was so broke. I was so poor I couldn't pay attention. Right? I mean, I was broke. I was broke as a joke and ready to choke. But when they'd ask people in the mastermind, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I said, well, this is what I would do. And everybody's like, oh man, that's the best idea I ever heard. I'm like, and I was so confused because all these rich people that were around me thought my ideas were great. And I was the brokest person in the room. I'm like, and you know what happened in that room for me that changed my life? I realized why I was broke. You know why I was broke? Because I spent most of my life selling to the wrong people. I spent most of my life selling to the people who needed it instead of to the people who desired it. I made the shift, started selling, making my offers. I raised my prices and started making my offers to people who didn't need the money. They started buying from me like it was going out of style. Guess what? It hadn't slowed down yet. So I joined a community where I could discover what my real value was, because I really had no idea. Up until that point, I had no idea how valuable all this stuff that I had learned over the years really was.
Wow. Thanks for
So
sharing
hopefully
that.
that was
I really
helpful.
appreciate it.
So
It
My
was.
pleasure.
It really was.